Very good evening, dear ladies and gentlemen. How are you all doing? Just wanted to talk to you. It's quite obvious that we all are excited when we talk about Europe, USA, Singapore, Australia, and we tend to compare India with other countries. Hey, let's be honest. Don't we do that? Why do we do that? Is there any dearth in our capabilities, resources, and skills? Or is it just a mindset or a mind block? We all know the story of the thirsty crow which picked up the pebbles and dropped in a pot until the water rose to the top and enabled the crow to drink the water. These are not just stories, but lessons to learn from such incidents. Day in and day out, we keep learning many things. Despite all the crises and pandemic situations, there are humongous opportunities available in front of us. Come, let's change the mindset and make a difference. We have a seasoned expert who will present his thoughts. It's my privilege to introduce him. Shivakumar, the great man. He's a runner, artist, music lover, columnist, contributor, patriot, challenger. There's much more about him. Shiva, he's an economic postgraduate and MBA from Symbiosis Institute of Management. He's also an alumni from Indian Institute of Management, a prestigious B school in Bangalore, and a certified HR manager from B Skills. With over 26 years of work experience, many industrial segments, predominantly in the HR space for over 18 years. He eats HR, drinks HR, breathes HR, and everything is HR for him. He's a smart leader with deep subject knowledge, and he's very passionate mentor to his teams India and abroad. And he's passionate about creating valuable changes that bring substances to the table. Shiva has a keen interest in the digital space. He has contributed to many articles, including People Matter articles called as Being Human and Being Digital. I'm sure you will get more such articles that you can read on his LinkedIn profile. As an entrepreneur, one of his recent venture is Resource Tree. When you say resource tree, you can think of the tree which has got a lot of resources. Every branch of the tree is a resource for you. And the objective and his motto is to enable international organizations, Indian startups to launch in India with ease and comfort. A happily married man with two wonderful kids lives in the IT hub of India, Bengaluru. Let's welcome him for today's program. Over to you, dear Shiva.
Thank you, Satya. Thank you so much for the wonderful introduction. It's been an honor and a pleasure to join everybody today on Facebook Live. I'm sure all of you are as excited as me on this particular topic to understand how recreating gold in India is an opportunity for all of us, right? So before we jump into this particular topic, Satya, I've seen many of your Facebook Lives and I've drawn a lot of inspiration for this particular event from your Facebook Live. Thank you so much for the kind words. I'm sure that the whole topic, the whole subject has set a great context, which will probably continue for the next 1 hour. So moving to this particular topic, uh, so let's start with something interesting, which is a quiz. Quiz time. We have some visuals below, and we have certain questions above. So I wanted you to just think about these questions, which is going to be connecting the dots for our presentation today, right? Who was the first to call India Golden India? So this is an ancient question. A very ancient person, a leader has told this. 25th of September, 13th of May. Uh, I'm sure this one, the fourth one, most of them will figure out the number. 6th and 9th of August, 1945. So I've dotted certain visuals below for us to understand what this is all about. So if anybody would want to, quickly give me an answer for it. All right. So let me connect the dots for you. The first one was Alexander the Great was the first person to actually call India Golden India before the conquest. The conquest was one among the most important for India for him to come to India and align certain thought process that this was a nation which was filled with wealth. The wealth of this nation was so good that happiness, health, and almost all aspects of it was covered. So he called it Golden India before coming to the conquest. The next most important thing was Make in India. I'm sure most of you would recognize the lion, right? So Make in India as a concept is immensely popular today, and I think everybody is living and breathing it. 13th May, we also got an announcement for something called Buy in India, right? So I think that's one more space where it was very, very important for people to understand to create wealth. They need to go and see how they can actually, buy in India and make the resources much more interesting, much more elaborate, and we create our own wealth. Indian population is the fourth one. This is as of Jan 2020. I think this is one of the biggest powers we have today. And the next most important thing is the 6th and 9th August 1945. This is basically the Hiroshima and Nagasaki, right? So when I'm talking about these aspects, it is important for us to understand how I'm going to connect the dots on a later date. Let me continue the presentation. So the most important thing of all is strength of people power. So unity is something which I've put in terms of the strength of people power, right? I think it's quite but said that we have the power of people, and the power of people, when it's united, is the most important. We've seen in our own history that when we unite, that the power of people gets us to something way different. India is the sixth wealthiest nation in the world, grossing a USD of about 82.30 billion, right? And this particular aspect in India has been a very important aspect because the growth of India is dependent on this. Now, today we are at sixth wealthiest. We could get to become a stronger nation very soon. The growth of India has been exponential over the past 8 years and has amazing potential to supersede the rest of the world. Well, we are the largest democracy and we hold the largest elections ever in any part of the world. All it takes for us to have a very, very united spirit. And unity is one of the most important aspects for us to live and breathe at this juncture when the pandemic is actually hitting us. Going forward to the next aspect, which is progress, right? Progress is important. Now, when I say progress, first we'll have to kind of recognize what kind of natural resources we have. India has always had the 10th, as on date, it is at the 10th largest gold reserves. But India has been one of the richest countries. When I talk about Alexander the Great, who's actually come for the conquest and told us that it is the richest country or the golden India, from that date till date, I think we have had potentially wonderful gold reserves, which makes any country rich, which actually gives the valuation of country a better note. So if you look at the kind of natural resources we have unique natural resources, which is very, 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 very important for us to grow. And I would say that the most important thing for a natural resource, for the country to have the natural resource, is for them to grow and to proceed in terms of how they can actually accentuate their own processes, because you have the first level wealth already with you, right? The next most important thing is progress. India is one of the largest producers in terms of agricultural economy. Over 60% of India being an agricultural economy, India stands second in terms of the food grains. So I would like to just tell the youth of India to participate in this more, specifically when you look at technology and agriculture becoming one and unique. When I say this, it is important for us to understand that any part of the world, agriculture has gone much beyond the stage of just being the casual labor. It has gone with the technology. And today, I think the youth of India is really ready and prepared for us to take on India to the next level in terms of agricultural growth. We have the required land, we have the required people. Now we need the technology to be combined to make sure that the agricultural land gives us the potential to make sure that we make the best of the crops and we make sure that India becomes self-sustained, number one, and also to the international market gives a lot of export business and stuff like that, so that India becomes a leading country in terms of agricultural economy. Make in India should be the mantra, and I'm sure that there is enough potential for everybody to understand. There are a lot of my friends who jumped into agriculture from a corporate world, wherein they feel the ownership, they feel the sense that yes, it is important for us to contribute. At the same time, they definitely get a livelihood which is more fulfilling, right? The next most important thing I would like to talk about is being local. I think everyone has understood this example of one of the organizations is called MI, where it is made in India, made by Indians, especially 95% of the people who work there are women, right? So one of the most important aspects here is the manufacturing segment. India has been one of the primary manufacturing dynamo when compared to the global economy. When I say this, my aspiration for all Indians is that we become the number one very soon as 2022. What is it that it will make for us to say it's a cool Indian product? It's a very good brand. Why is Versace or Gucci just compared as global brands and people buy it? Why can't we do something as catalyst as that? Why are the cars being manufactured in the Western world or places like Germany are so unique? So we need to look at that kind of examples to understand each and every segment of our manufacturing industry to make sure that we produce quality. We produce something very unique and nice for us to ensure that we compete with the global economy. We compete with the global manufacturers, and we are definitely much about that. I'm sure we have the intelligence, we have the technology, and definitely we have the hardworking labor who can contribute to this particular aspect. But let's start by buying local. I think that's one of the most important aspects I would like to reiterate. One more very unique thing which we have seen with Indians is that we are hardworking. We are very hardworking when it comes to many instances. For example, I think during this pandemic period, I have seen many of the people from the banking segment literally risking their lives and going to banks, wherein they face a lot of customers, the front end warriors who are there in the bank. I would like to appreciate them for the reason that they definitely have done a lot of hard work, right? So when I say banking segment in India, it is extremely vast, right? So deposits grew up to 11.11%, and it reached up to 1.86 trillion in terms of the financial year 2019. So if you look at the kind of numbers, Indian banking industry is considered to be the 8th largest and one of the most rigorous in terms of the processes, in terms of technology. The way Indians have started using banking as a segment with the technology in and the kind of internet banking, the mobile banking, I think things have changed so drastically that it is seamless today. The number of total bank accounts opened during this period in Pradhan Mantri Jan Dhan Yojana is close to about 373.4 million accounts. That's unimaginable. If you look at the kind of wealth which is going to create and wealth it's going to come back in terms of the deposits, it is going to be fantastic. It's a great opportunity for India to recognize these aspects and see what are we, So when you compare it, I think we are the right track, we're in the right growth path. And I think with a few measures with the most reliable organizations in India governing the financial body, which is RBI, I would say little bit of restructuring on the domestic banking segment as well as the corporate finance, can really bring in a huge change, a huge improvement in terms of how our whole financial structure would look at. There are certain policies and regulations which I would urge the government also to look at in terms of taxation, rate of interest, which will really give a boost and growth to India in terms of individuals, corporates, and international organizations who want to set up their, organizations in India. So, having said that, I would like to move on to the next most important aspect, which is going to be innovation. So, I think it synchronizes with IT as a segment for the reason that there has been unique innovations which has happened in the IT segment. So IT, if I say, it is related to agriculture, it is related to manufacturing, it is related to almost all important industries, right? It is married to almost all important industries because it becomes virtually an enabler. It becomes a great enabler for us to see how things work better. The segment or the sector of IT and BPM stood at about 177 billion in 2019. It witnessed an amazing growth of 6.1%. And I think it's still growing at the same pace. We have created close to about 4.1 million jobs. That's something amazing in terms of the employment opportunity which India has. I think we've got the best minds, best talent across the world for this particular segment. And I don't think we have a competitor out here. I would call ourselves to be number one here. To connect the dots once again, we need to look at the economy, the entrepreneurship, and the employment, the three E's for a winning strategy. When I say this, the economy should really support the entrepreneurs who want to actually build their own organizations and give further employment and growth to the rest of the world. We need to have entrepreneurs who can really, really think about starting something innovative in India. It could be an NRI who wants to come and settle down here. And Resource3 is one organization which promptly responds to people who want to do something of that kind. And other than that, the employees who want to really make sure that they build the quality in terms of their product. Whatever they need to do it with their full heart and soul. Right? So there is a three win-win-win strategy, E3, which I call it, for us to have an extremely progressive nation. Right? So innovation is a key, and I think it will propel the growth for the next 5 years. One more very important thing I would like to urge, and this is very important for us because the youth and young of India, when I say youth and young, I would like to bifurcate them here because the youth contribute to anything, I would call it 18 plus, and the young contribute from 6 years of up to 18 years. So innovation is very important for growth. I think everybody knows it and they endorse it. Anybody who has such kind of an innovative motive mind needs to be recognized, needs to be nurtured, and that needs something in terms of a recognition at the national level. So we have Padma Shri, Padma Bhushan, Padma Vibhushan, so many awards. There's something very unique we need to create for an innovation, and that needs to propel the growth of India, right? So I think these kind of things would really give us a big boost in terms of people jumping into innovation. So let me move to the next slide, which is nothing but smart villages, smart cities. Smart is the most important word today because when we do things in a simpler and satisfying way, I think it gives a lot in terms of measurable results for us, right? So I think as far as India goes, we have good internet bandwidth. We have the mobile across India. We have penetrated a lot. I think there is a lot of chances for us to build free e-learning of up to 10 standard. If there is a government policy which can look at the kind of education system which has been already looked into at a bigger level for us to propel growth, the initiative should definitely ensure that people at all levels get the education to propel the growth. Because if you're educated, if you're aware of some most important aspects and things, I'm sure that the growth is not going to stop for us, right? So, of course, education for elders, which is very important because I think down the line, people who are retired feel that they are done with life. I don't think that's true. We need to use their experience. We need to use their power the people power is very important at that level as well, because the kind of experience, energy they have, if we can harness it, we'll be able to get a lot more better ideas, lot more insights, lot more progression done, right? India is the youngest country. Of course, nobody can deny this. 62% of our population is well beyond 44 years, right? And I think if we are able to create good amount of employment opportunity, I'm talking about formal employments, I'm talking about employments in different segments with either a gig or a contractual or a formal employment. I think we need to look at these aspects in a larger way to ensure that we make sure the potential of any individual is totally harnessed, right? There could be a 3% tax rebate for companies who wants to set up rural employment. I think that's just a suggestion from my end, because it will motivate and encourage people to go towards rural. I'm sure that we've all seen cities are getting crowded. We've seen the pandemic has given us much relief in terms of how things play out. And I'm sure that people would love to go venture out in the rural and understand how they can set up things. This is not going to be very far away. I'm sure I'm foreseeing this very soon as well, right? So let me move on to my next most important thing, which is smart. If you look at the kind of so why do we have to waste fuel? Why do we have to waste? We need to decrease the carbon footprints, which means that we have to think at every house to make sure we have some kind of renewable energy, right from households to organizations to corporates to the government. We need to think about this as a major movement. When we talk about movement, we need to make sure that this is implemented at the grassroots, right? India is ranking the fourth in terms of wind power, fifth in terms of solar, fifth in terms of renewable power. I think these things are wonderful, but are we really utilizing it for ourselves? So please think about make in India, buy in India, and do it in India in terms of this kind of aspects such as renewable power. It is much easier for us to understand these things, to put things in perspective. I'm sure most of you have seen this movie Swadesh, acted by Shah Rukh Khan and directed by Ashutosh. It's a wonderful movie of a young person from NASA who actually comes back to India and builds something unique. And he has this inspiration to go back again to India and give back to the country. So it's just a movie which inspires us, but I think we should cultivate our own inspiration to see what is the next thing I want to do to make my nation better. I'm sure most of you have heard this from Kennedy, but it is always resonating in our mind. Think what you can do for the country before you ask, now what can I get out of the country? I think the mind shift has to be very, very even, right? I think moving ahead in terms of smart, I think I will go to one of the most important aspects today. Touching upon this is very emotional because we are going through a wonderful period where we have been faced by such big challenges as a pandemic, which is threatening our lives. It's history written where we'll be able to tell this, and God forbid nothing happens to anybody. I pray God, and we make sure we are safe. But healthcare, it's one of the most important thing today. The segment which is most recognized, most needed. And I think India has come a long way here. It has come a long way here. We've proved our mettle in terms of what we can do. And we've supported multiple nations, including the US, UK, talk about any nation, by providing them the most important ingredients to prepare certain aspects of the COVID medicine, right? And if you look at how India has evolved, medical tourism in India has gained extreme importance because we've had some very good healthcare units. We've got some very good doctors. The quality of healthcare here is definitely good. So I say the opportunity is abundant. Maybe today, due to the pandemic, this has come down. But once we find a remedy and a recourse to the COVID, I'm sure this is going to be one of the most important aspects where India can cash upon, right? Because the medicine is cheap, the treatment is cheap. When I say cheap, don't relate it to the quality. It is not. It is only to the cost. We have abundance of opportunity of e-health. telemedicine, virtual consultation. In fact, I believe it is 4 days. I'm not sure, but I think I've seen a patient coming, the robo actually viewing the patient, figuring out whether they have fever, and then there is a doctor who comes on telemedicine and virtual consultation, which is path breaking. So if you have to do this from your own home, I think that's something which is very interesting, which you can do. And today, with the advance of IoT, today with the advent of digital platforms, AI, MI, machine learning, and so many other aspects, it is but for us to create something new, something innovative, so that this entire aspect of the healthcare becomes more palatable. Futuristic thought, I'm sure that with the process of IoT, robotics playing an important role, there'll be a lot more in terms of addressing such pandemics, if there is anything in the future, as well as giving the most important medical aspects, medicines to the rest of the world. And I am sure that India will be one of the most front runner in terms of giving healthcare a new meaning, right? And if you look at automated procedures, uh, this will help a lot in terms of including or incorporating augmented reality, virtual reality, 3D printing. I think this holds good for almost all industries. It's just that healthcare is one of the most important and the pinnacle today, which we want to discuss. One more important thing I would like to touch upon when it comes to healthcare is that I'm sure most of you know India has one of the largest GICs in terms of healthcare. We've got so many organizations from international forum where we are one of the most solicited for healthcare as a back-end activity, right? So processing the patient queries, all these things are coming to us. But I would also urge through the technology that things like e-health, telemedicines, virtual consultations could become a reality for the rest of the world, which means that India creates such opportunity for the rest of the world for us to consult from anywhere. Our doctors can actually be consulting to somebody from Australia. So that's what I mean. And I think this should soon become a reality for all of us, right? So looking at this vision, looking at these kind of perspectives is important for us to think, for us to create the golden India. Moving on to my next slide, which is very dear to my heart. I think if you are happy, the rest falls in place. So everybody knows that immunity and prevention is important. So as we say, prevention is better than cure. Immunity is the most important thing and a lifeline today that we've realized. And our ancient sciences, such as Ayurveda, Yoga Shastra, has definitely proven right in this times where people keep up to the immunity levels, which will make sure that nothing really affects us. Why don't we have this as a daily practice? A little bit of yoga, a little bit of healthcare, a little bit of exercise, making the trigger, making getting up from the bed and making sure that we go and we practice something very interesting, keeping ourselves pretty live and both in our body and soul will be important. Yoga has gained so much of significance in the past 10 years. So if you look at a global forum, yoga has been accepted as one of the most important forms of happiness, forms of becoming happy, forms of creating happiness. So I think it is not just health, but also a process of happiness, right? When your mind is calm, when your body is aligned with your mind, when you're healthy, I think these three important aspects will create a human being who can be much more productive, much more hardworking, much more innovative, much more smarter, right? And this will create a small community of people who can do and live dreams. And look at it state-wise, nationwide. If you're able to create such kind of happy communities, I'm sure India will emerge as one of the happiest nations. With happiness follows wealth. With wealth follows prosperity. And I'm sure a path to recreate India as one of the happiest and wealthiest nations, again, I would address this before the conquest happened, but today I'm urging everybody to think about this, that we can recreate India to become one of the most happiest, wealthiest nations forever, right? And I think it is not far away if all of us put this thing together. As Satya said, the perspective of a crow looking at the jar and understanding whether it is half full, and I have an opportunity to create it by putting stones into it. That is what we are looking at, right? And to sum it all, audience, the mantra to recreate India is unity in adversity. I think we've seen during our freedom struggle, during our conquest, or during the pandemic today, I think all of us are united in the adversity, which will bring us a lot of rigor, bring us a lot of potential to unite and do things together. Progress should be our path. We should be thinking about everybody in a very progressive manner. When you come across an individual, please understand what is the best out of them. Local should be alive. Obviously, I think this practice is very important. I have emphasized on this that we need to get local at every aspect of it, starting from our own individual lives. So it can create an impact for our children, it can create a bigger impact for their next generation, and we really own up to it. Hard work should be a habit. I'm not discounting the factor of smart work because a lot of people have come and argued, let's do smart work. Smart work is also hard work. It is more hard work as far as what I know. And innovation should be our initiative. Everything what you do should create or should have some essence of innovation. Don't do things in a very transactional manner, which means that you're not alive, which means that you're not contributing. You need to contribute to it, which means your innovation should really resonate what you contribute, right? And smart should be your soch. When I say that, you think very smart. You think that this should last for the next 100 years. This should be useful. This should be friendly. This should be. So I think many ways of looking at it. And I'm sure that people in India have much more technologies, who are much more technology savvy, could understand this and percolate it down to all of us. And last but not the least, happier and healthier to be our souls and body, because it all starts from there, right? So I wish you all very good health, extremely good agility. I wish you all unity, innovation, hard work, and I wish you all very, 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 very happy, very, very, very strong potential to grow. Jai Hind. I'm sure that this session would have been quite fulfilling in terms of your thought process being provoked. If there is comments, suggestions, anything you would like to ask, please go to the chat. I'd be happy to answer. Thank you so much.
That was a wonderful presentation. 30 minutes of presentation gave us 30 years of experience in different fields. Like, it's amazing as such. In fact, the way you were talking about hard work and smart work, people always say, don't work hard, be smart. See, it is a balanced one. Hard work is essential. Without hard work, nothing comes. Imagine if anything comes easily without working hard. No, it's not. Smart work is all.
I think we lost you, Satya.